So Last of Us Part 2 really needs a PS5 port. A dedicated one at that. What's going on, guys? I'm Goshen from Analyze Gaming. Today we're going to look at a comparison playing Last of Us Part 2 on the PS4 and the PS5 so we can take a look at how it runs on both systems. I'm starting with the loading screen so you guys can see how the game boots up from the initial load to when we can actually start the game. And then we're going to break down section by section different parts that I feel really showcases the hardware difference as well as the graphical capabilities between the two. So as you saw, Last of Us 2 on the PS5 loaded in just under 34 seconds, while the PS4 version takes almost a full minute to load so we can actually start playing the game. So this next section is Seattle Day 1 with Ellie, towards the end, right before you get to the theater. And the reason why I wanted to include this section is because on the PS4, when you activate infinite ammo, you can get to a part of this area where you can continuously kill clickers, to the point that it starts dropping frames and it crashes the game. I wanted to see if the same thing would happen if you were playing the game on PS5. And funny enough, the game does crash at the same point, but not due to frame rate drop. I'm not sure why it crashes, because it doesn't give the same signs as as playing it on the PS4, where it starts dropping the frames and the audio starts glitching, and you don't get any of that. On the PS5, it's very smooth until it just crashes. So, not sure how to explain it, but I wanted to see it, and it happened. Now this next section is actually towards the prologue of the game, where you play as Abby and where she meets Joel. And the reason why I wanted to include this section is because it really shows off the hardware capabilities of the PS5. Where on the PS4, when you're playing it, if you allow the infected to just trickle on in through the map, you get a lot of frame rate drops. That's because the PS4 is unable to unload the dead bodies and load in new enemies at a consistent pace, so it just eventually just starts dropping frames and lagging on your inputs and with everything in the environments. Whereas the PS5, because of the hardware that's in it, it's able to process things a lot smoother and a lot faster. So it's able to despawn the bodies at a much quicker rate and bring in more infected, which then doesn't affect the frame rates, because then it's not constantly trying to render all the bodies that's currently on the screen. So because of that, the PS5 version, funny enough, allows me to stay alive longer, in this section, because I don't have to worry about frame rate drops and input lag and everything like that. So take a look and see for yourself. So this last section here, we get to talk about the graphics and the visual aspects of the PS4 versus the PS5 when it comes to Last of Us Part 2. And the reason why I'm doing this section here, which is Seattle Day 3 with Abby, they're on the Seraphite Island, and the reason why I'm including this one is because I feel like this is probably the most visually impressive section of Last of Us Part 2, and a perfect candidate to compare the two consoles. So that's what we're gonna do. And the biggest thing that I've noticed when it comes to the PS4 versus the PS5 with Last of Us Part 2, and again, this is not a PS5 version of Last of Us Part 2, we're still waiting for that to come out, but the differences that I've noticed is the colors are more vibrant on the PS5 versus the PS4. The characters are a lot smoother, the textures are less sharp, more realistic, and I can really appreciate that. The fire seems more realistic as it burns through the entire village. The way that the reflections on the characters, as well as the environments in general, just seem to pop more. And this is without ray tracing. Like I said, this is not a PS5 upgrade. This is the PS4, so ray tracing is not applied here. It just seems to just be a much more, or it seems to be more of a visual spectacle as opposed to the PS4, which the PS4 version is still a visually impressive game. Like I'm not taking away from that, but on the PS5, the hardware just takes over, and again, even without ray tracing, even without it being a full PS5 version, it just looks overall so much better. And I going through this section on the PS5 just reminded me why I like this section of the game as much as I do. So enjoy, let me know what you think. Now, a couple things I want to note before we close this video out. First things first, audio. The audio was a lot clearer on the PS5 as opposed to playing it on the PS4. I don't know why. It's just how it seemed to come through. It came through stronger, it came through clearer. Maybe it has to do with the fact that the PS5 it has a better sound card on it. Not sound card, but you get what I'm saying. That the audio is built better on the PS5. That could be the reason. Another thing I noticed is on the controller. Playing The Last of Us Part 2 actually does feel like it takes advantage of the haptic feedback on the PS5 controller. Something that I was not expecting. When Ellie is using her bow and arrow, you feel the tension as she draws back on her bowstring. For every bullet that you fire, you feel it on the controller. You feel the tension of the triggers. When you run out of ammo, the trigger locks up. It's very interesting. And I'm glad that they kind of did that, even though it's not a PS5 upgrade. It kind of leads me to believe that we're going to see a PS5 upgrade very soon for this, considering that they actually went ahead and developed at least the haptic feedback for it. So fingers crossed on that one, and if there is a PS5 upgrade, I will do a video comparing the PS5 upgraded version to the PS4 version as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything that you may have noticed that I missed down in the comment section below. And until the next time, I'll see you guys real soon.